Hey, hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Chastity. Here we talk about beauty, entertainment, celebrities, books, movies, anime, TV shows, and kind of anything else that garners my attention this week. Before we get into today's video, I am a part of Amazon's influencer program. Over on Amazon, I do have my own storefront where you guys can shop my favorite adult coloring books, my favorite skincare, hair care, purses, makeup, and books. So if you're in the mood to shop and want to support me as well, links to that will be in the pinned comment below as well as in the description of this video. I just want to say this video was completely unplanned. I don't even have like my notes or my outline like how I normally do, because I did watch the Oscars, but like I wasn't watching it to make a video on it until everything that happened had happened. So this is really just off the top of the head, just how I'm feeling, because this was not the video planned for today. I have a whole nother video that I guess I'm gonna like push back to like Wednesday or Thursday, because this I don't know. I was watching the Oscars and like, this is nothing important. Nothing's interesting is actually gonna happen. And the one time I take no notes, something interesting happens. So I think how I'm gonna do this video is I'm gonna talk about like 3 other things first, and then I'm gonna talk about the Will and Jada Chris Rock thing. So first of all, the fashion that night was atrocious. Listen, I think about 5 people actually knew they were going to the Oscars and everyone else had no idea until they got there. Like, it was so bad and so chaotic. And like, red carpet fashion has taken a hit in these past like what, decade and a half. So like, I don't expect much, but this was still extremely bad. Now the Oscars did start with a performance by Beyonce, which was very kind of them for those of us who were just there for her and just wanted to see her perform and leave. It was great. She got to go first and get out. I love that. Now she performed Be Alive from the, is it King Richard movie, the Venus and Serena one. Now I don't hate Be Alive. I feel the same way about Be Alive as I feel about Black Parade. I think they're fun songs. A little boppy bobs. I know y'all seem to hate those songs because you hate fun. You don't having a good time. But I do enjoy having a good time. And I've always liked Be Alive. Now, one thing about Beyonce, a song of hers could be your least favorite, but once you see the live performance, it becomes one of your favorite. This performance of Be Alive was so good. And it's like the first time she's performed in like, what, 5 years? It's been a minute since she has performed, and like, it took place in Compton. It was on a tennis court. They were wearing these like yellowy green outfits, as well as the set was that yellowy green color, you know, the color of like a tennis ball. And the performance was immaculate. The vocals were crisp and clear. The strings and the horns was doing what they needed to be done. The dancers looked beautiful and was giving us full choreography. At one point, Little Miss Blue Ivy came out and gave us a little 8 count. She ate. It was just an impeccable performance, especially after how long it's been since we've seen her perform live. It was so good to see this. She ate. Like, she really ate. It was a great way to start the Oscars. And honestly, at that point, that was the only interesting thing to have happened during the Oscars. The actual Oscar program itself didn't do anything for me. Honestly, I am really bothered by the fact that a lot of awards were given off camera. And for a lot of the stuff that I was actually interested in, I had to like actually go out of my way to search and find it. Because during the actual show, I feel like they awarded like 5 people, and then the rest of the show was just clips of movies. And so many people that play a pivotal role in filmmaking were awarded off camera, and those were the actual interesting people, the people I actually cared about. I don't give a fuck about none of these actors. I really don't. It's the people behind the scenes doing the costuming, the directing, everything, all the behind the scenes stuff I'm far more interested in. And it really annoyed me that like none of them really were awarded on camera. The host of the Oscars was Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer. I don't really have much to say about them as hosts, except for the fact that one of Amy Schumer's jokes was 100% stolen from Twitter. And the joke itself, I'm actually going to read the tweet verbatim that Amy Schumer stole. The tweet says, Leonardo DiCaprio is so passionate about climate change because he wants to leave a better world for his girlfriends. that was stolen from Twitter. And when Amy Schumer said it, and it mildly amused me, I knew something was wrong. Because I don't find that white lady funny at all. So imagine how tickled I was when I got to the Bird app and people were quote tweeting that exact tweet. Because it sounded familiar. Because I was confused why it made me giggle. Because I don't find Amy Schumer funny. And I'm like, I found her funny because she stole something. Okay, so let's talk about it, right? Okay. So at one point, Chris Rock is on stage and he's doing what he does, you know, being a comedian. So, you know, that means like looking around the audience and making jokes about the people there. And then, if you are unaware that like Jada Pinkett Smith is now bald because she has alopecia, and I'm going to get more into that later on why that makes what Chris Rock did even nastier. But she's alopecia. She's losing her hair, so she just completely shaved her head just to not deal with the hair loss. And so she's in the audience, bald and beautiful like she always is. And Chris Rock zooms in on her and is like, this is my fucking moment. And he makes a joke referencing G.I. Jane because she's bald now. And then the next thing you know, we see Will Smith like, because like he's just kind of like, his walk is powerful. Because he, in my opinion, he actually seemed fairly level-headed. Like, he went on stage and you can tell that Chris Rock is kind of confused. Like, that's why I kind of feel like it's not scripted, because the look in Chris Rock's eyes, because I don't think Chris Rock is a good enough actor to pull this off. He just is like, oh, haha. And then Will open palm slaps him. As he's walking away, tells him to keep his wife's name out his mouth. And when he's back in the audience, he again states, keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth. Like, and you can tell by just looking at Will that he seems actually upset. Because the slap looks staged, but also I've never been slapped in the face. So I don't really know, like, how that is properly supposed to look, because ain't nobody ever slapped the taste out of my mouth. But like the look in Will's eyes, and again, Chris Rock just not that good of an actor. And you can tell while he's on stage trying to like regroup, he's frazzled and he's still trying to like joke. And he's just like, wow, like I can't believe that happened. And listen, violence is not always the answer, but sometimes it is. And I really do feel like, because I feel like people were like, he slapped him for no reason. It was just one joke. One, this is not the first time that Chris Rock has said something very rude and kind of nasty to Jada. I think, was it 5-6 years ago is the first time Chris Rock actually hosted the Oscars, and that was during the Oscar So White situation. And you know, it's when a lot of black actors were boycotting the Oscars. And Jada was one of the actors that were very much so active in spearheading the Oscar So White and pushing it and all that stuff. During his like opening monologue, I think, he has said something about like, I don't know why Jada is boycotting the Oscars. She never will be invited. Which again, is just a nasty thing to say to one of your peers. Because like, Chris Rock and Jada have been co-stars before. Like, I completely forgot about like the 3 Madagascar movies, but like they're in it. They did it together. They were co-stars. They did 3 movies together. So, which leads me to believe there might be some animosity, because it's like, how you do 3 movies with somebody and you really come at them like this? Like, I'm just saying, right? Like, you did those 3 movies together. Why with every opportunity you have something to say to Jada specifically? It's weird. It's very strange to me that every time you have the opportunity to like do this at an award show, you gotta dig for Jada. And that's why I think maybe this was like the last straw for Will, because I remember the first time and maybe he was like, listen, twice is enough. What we will not be doing is disrespecting my wife. Now the second issue. Jada is not bald for bald's sake. She didn't just decide that, you know, she's going to give the girls a look, because she does have the face. to be bald. She does. Her face is gorgeous. Jada actually does have alopecia, and that is something that causes you to lose your hair. But alopecia is more than just hair loss. The reason why you are losing your hair is because your immune system is literally attacking your T cells. Okay? And the thing is, like, if you have alopecia, hair loss is quite honestly the least of your worries because, again, immune system attacking your T cells, that now leaves your body extremely susceptible to getting a laundry list of other health conditions. Okay? So it's more than just hair loss, right? But even if alopecia was just hair loss, it is still not nice or funny to attack people's appearances because, again, we don't know how sick people actually are. And I thought we learned this from Chadwick Boseman when he passed, that we don't know what these people are actually going through. So when you're seeing very drastic changes in their physical appearance, fucking relax. And again, I'm not going to diagnose Jada and say she's actually way more sicker than we think she is, but that's always a possibility with alopecia because, again, your immune system is attacking your T cells. On top of that, Jada has spoken about how hard it has been for her to lose her hair. Because it's one thing as a woman to lose your hair, and it's another thing when you are a black woman and you lose your hair. And you think about how much our hair as black women is tied to our identities and how we feel about ourselves and how other people treat us. I know some people are going to say that, like, it's her fault for sharing that, but listen, there is a Jada Pinkett Smith hate train happening right now because some of y'all truly believe like she's abusing Will because they're both consented to be in an open marriage, and y'all seem to believe she's holding him captive. I have a whole video on my Patreon actually talking about how Will and Jada's relationship has changed through this course of like being in social media and stuff like that, and how they went from being couple goals to being one of the most hated couples in Hollywood. Check out my Patreon if you want to see that video. But like, y'all really acting like they're both aren't having extramarital activities and everything's Jada's fault. So I genuinely do believe that if Jada did not tell people that she had alopecia when they saw her with a shaved head, they would have fucking attacked her. I genuinely think they would have, but because they knew she had this issue, this disorder, they were more kind to her than they would have been otherwise. And right, it's not lost on me on the fact that like Chris Rock has a whole documentary called Good Hair talking about black women and their extremely complicated relationship with their hair. I do view that documentary as him mocking black women. But anyways, he has this documentary and he got on this stage to make fun of a black woman and her black hair. Like, you're a nasty person, Chris Rock. And he's very lucky that the only thing Will did was slap the shit out of him. Because it really does seem like every time this man is on an Oscar stage, he got something to say about Jada. When I tell you white people were crying and shaking and throwing up when this situation happened, it was ridiculous how like upset and angry they were. He just slapped him. They was acting like he curb stomped Chris Rock in front of all their asses. It was very weird and very strange. Just how like emotional white people were getting. Judd Apatow had the fucking nerve to get on Twitter. It was like, Will could have killed him. He fucking slapped him. Relax. I don't know if maybe like Judd had recently rewatched Hancock and now he think Will Smith got the power to destroy men with his bare hands. Like, I know Will's from Philly, but relax. Like, he slapped him, and they're, like, older black men. Like, Will's, like, what, 50, right? Is he 50? He should... Hold on. Hey, Google. How old is Will Smith?
53 years old.
There you go. He's 53 years old. He got the strength of an older black man. He ain't doing damage to nobody. He just slapped him because he disrespected his wife. I did see some people say, yo, he laughed. Me personally, what I got from that was, ha ha ha, you're funny, but I'm about to get hilarious. That's how I view the laugh. Like, oh, that's so funny. You got jokes? Cool, and I got hands. That's how I viewed it, because I've seen a lot of people laugh and then beat somebody's ass. I have. I've just witnessed it a lot of times. White people were really acting like Will Smith was this abusive monster because he defended his wife. Like, white feminists being like trying to compare him to an abuser, which one is completely nasty. We think about the fact that if you read Will Smith's memoirs, he talks about the fact that his father was physically and verbally abusive to his mother and how much he wishes he could have been able to stand up for her when he was a kid. So to compare him to an abuser, white women, like always, are fucking nasty. And again, you had all this feelings for Will, but not one of you showed even a smidge of sympathy for Jada, the person who the joke was actually for. And when you saw her face in the audience, she did not look like she was enjoying any of that shit. So she was definitely actually bothered by it. But you had no think pieces on how his words affected a black woman. But you had the fucking nerves to call Will an abuser. Okay. Another thing, I think the main reason why white people were crumbling at the fact that Will Smith had slapped Chris Rock is for the past, 2 decades? Maybe 3? How long has Will Smith been doing stuff? I think for 2 decades. So for these past 2 decades, Will Smith has been viewed as the good black man. He is white men's favorite black man, because he's a model Negro. So I think seeing him act this way just shook them to their core, and they just did not know how to deal with all of this, and that's why they had the weird meltdown they did on social media. Because up until this point, Will Smith will always be the pursuit of happiness guide to white people, and you know how white people love a good pull yourself up from the bootstraps that story. And I feel like this is like, do you guys remember when like Beyonce released Lemonade, and like for the first time white people realized that Beyonce was black, and white people also had a complete and utter nervous breakdown when Lemonade came out? This is very similar to that. It's white people being faced with the fact that some of their black faves are actually black. And they just can't handle it. They're falling apart. They're falling apart at the bone because these black people show they black ass. Now the black people who are mad about this, that confused me, because I'm like, Will Smith is a nigga from Philly. He got jiggy. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, Chris Rock has repeatedly disrespected his wife, and he said today will be the last time, and he just slapped him. I know some of you were like, how dare he act up like that in front of white people, which unshackle yourself from the opinions of white people, 1. 2, you're mad that Will Smith slapped him in a room full of white people, but you're not mad that in a room full of white people, Chris Rock made fun of a black woman's hair. Okay, does that make sense to you? All right. Okay, cool. Now back to these white people, because I'm not done with y'all asses. The way that every single white person's take on this situation was deeply seeped in racism. If you had no idea what had happened and you did not see the video, and only thing you can do is go off of like white people's tweets, you would have thought that Will Smith had punched Chris Rock in the face with brass knuckles. And when I tell you, they was talking about that he could have killed him, he could have murdered him, he slapped him. Calm down, take a Vicodin and chill. Like, it's really not this deep. And again, white women trying to like push abuse on him because he defended his wife. Listen, just because there's no one in your life willing to defend you, don't mean other people don't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry no one would defend you, but some people actually do have people in lives that love them and are willing to go that far. I'm sorry. And again, you couldn't tell by the look on her face that she was very unhappy. Like, comparing Will Smith to your abusive ex, stop pushing your feelings onto other people's situations. It's weird. It is gross. But yeah, that's it for me. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this whole situation? Do you think white people were doing incredibly too much about this whole situation? Do you think it was justified that he slapped him? Do you think it's okay to make fun of people with medical conditions? I hope not. I really hope not. But yeah, that's it for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.